Have you ever felt like with your parents, nothing you do is ever good enough, and you spend your whole life trying to get their validation and to feel worthy of their love?
Client or as a client that's new, or old client needing a new website, just understanding what they really want, making sure that you put people before business, just not being good enough for my family, trying to impress my parents, which are overseas, but that just comes from childhood days, really. But
you can identify these things, these limiting beliefs, and you can change them to be who you want to be.
Have you ever been a young person inside an organization?
We really want to work with good people that understand good marketing, they want to build long-term relationships with us, that we can obviously help grow. I'm probably in my 6th or 7th business. Most of them failed. I had 2 or 3 that didn't.
Pursuing your dream of being a leader.
Parents were very old school, career driven people. You leave school, you go into college, you go into your corporate job. My dad was with Mercedes-Benz all his life, and then he retired.
But not feeling as though you deserve it, having that imposter syndrome. So that's what this episode's about. It's a 2-verse-1 special. I go a little in-depth, challenging. And once again, we don't talk about in any way what they do for a job. Just talk about them. So let's kick into it. So I guess the starting point is just like, what do you guys do? Whoever wants to take the floor.
Go on, Tash.
You want me to do it?
There you go.
Oh.
Boom.
Cool. So we do digital marketing. So with digital marketing, there's a range of things that we do there. So specializing in social media marketing, and we also do websites as well. I'm more the creative side of things, so I oversee the front end, and then Rory specializes in the back end.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I convince people to buy stuff.
30 grand website. Bargain.
Come on, let's go 100.
Yeah. Oh, someone charged 2.5 million on for services for I don't know the fuck what he was doing website over years.
Yeah.
What's the most expensive you've charged? Like people.
Oh my gosh! What?
Yeah, it's mad. Eh? You just say a number and people are like, yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, we babies. We're still getting there.
Yeah, we haven't quite reached the 2.5 million.
I did hear a term the other day about we need to be hunting whales, and I got a bit of a shock, and then I realized, well, that's a sales term, so we're gonna be hunting whales now.
Wow. Well, I did put on a lot of weight if you're going for it. Wow.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like if you think about it, they use an analogy. So in e-commerce, let's say you have one company that's making $100 million a year, one making $1 million a year, and you charge 10% for like increasing whatever increase there is. So let's say you increase one of them by 10 million, and the other one, so 100 to 110, and the other one from 1 to 1.1, and you get 10% of that. You're doing the same work.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
But it's not you ignore the people that aren't doing well, and then that feel good thing. You're like, just help rich people.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like we've had a lot of learnings in the last 2.5 years, and we were doing anything, just taking on any sort of work we could. It didn't matter what, just to survive and grow. But we soon realized that the smaller websites are actually more work than doing larger websites for larger businesses. Yeah. And it's almost like you're pulling the money out of the mom and pop's back pocket to feed the kid or buy milk for them, and it's hard, man. But I can't say that's with everybody, but we've decided we do want to go for the bigger websites if we do. But paid media, CRM systems, organic social media, we do all of it.
Well, I've bailed up a lot of website people lately, so maybe you should have mentally prepared for this. But I'm always thinking like probably the most valuable thing you can do for anyone is less effort for them and deliver it quicker and achieve the outcome that they want.
Yeah.
So a lot of like website people, they're like we'll charge you 30 grand in 6 months, we'll finish it or whatever. I kept bailing up my mate, Paul Stockton is his name. He's Control Shift. There's like another company. He's new.
Yeah.
But he's like really good at service. And I was like, is it possible to just deliver in 7 days, to do everything? He's like, well, if it relies on the client, they got to do this and that. But then he thought about it more, and he's like, why don't I just partner with agencies that already handle all the communication make it really clear, and we do it in really quickly.
Wow.
It means you can charge more.
Yeah.
Because you think about the average, whale, let's call them.
Yeah.
That's your analogy. The average whale, they don't give a fuck. Like, you get some professional service that no one actually goes to the website, maybe because of your marketing they do.
Yeah.
And they just wait. They don't really care. Like, 5 months, 30 grand. It's not a big deal. They just want it to look pretty, have some functionality. Like, it's... How can we change the game? How do we make you guys, like...
I think you're
compelling?
right. I think it's all in the strategy, making sure that you have everything set up properly. But we've also known that it largely relies on the customer. So if we have all the assets in place, we've got all the data in place, we've got everything lined up, we can turn a website around really quickly, depending on the functionality, obviously. And then there's a second side to it. Yeah, we can turn it around in 7 days or 2 weeks. But the problem is we also need to have a care package in place. We had a website hacked recently. We've had things go wrong with websites. So we need to have something in place where our team's going through it, making sure the CTA is in place, the forms are working, security is updated, we've got backups in there. So there's a whole lot of stuff after that, but the client doesn't always understand that, so it's about education. So we need to tell those whales or those clients that, listen,
Oh my gosh,
whales. We want to love you, we want to make sure that your website works going forward. We're going to build you this stunning website that you're going to love, but to keep it alive, and there has been a spike in hackings during COVID, undoubtedly. I just think there's a whole lot of bored people sitting in their rooms, don't know what to do, and they just start hacking people's websites. That's probably what's happening there, to be honest. But yeah, it's making sure that there's longevity on that website, and a website is a living and breathing thing these days. It's not like the archaic sites. You get it up and you leave it for 3 years. You make sure that their website moves with the times.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We got some 2 cents gone.
It's just with timeframes. It's so. I'm just going back to the timeframes thing. It's such a tricky thing, with clients, because there's so many factors that come into it. Obviously, there's the approval process, but also certain things that you need to get from the clients as well. You can't, as much as we take on and as much as we do, obviously we want to make sure that we do it properly and get everything that the client wants on there and needs on the website. So I don't know if you may achieve this 7-day thing in terms of a website and what the project was. But yeah, that's one of the things we do find hard, is just making sure we reach those certain timeframes and getting all the stuff that we need. So it does kind of vary. It varies depending on the client. But the smaller clients, it actually ends up taking longer than the bigger clients. Longer and more time, more work.
Yeah, I mean that's the most common thing I hear is the communication channel, like getting clear everything what the client wants. But let's say you had the $2.5 million website.
Yeah.
Someone asked me that, is like, if your service was worth $100,000, what would be involved? And if that was the last client you ever had, what would you do? Like, if that was the only way you could ever get business, how would you treat that client? Those 2 questions. Quite interesting. But so let's say if you had a year to prepare, to think about how do we streamline the communication channel where we either meet with them once and we can only talk to them that one time to get all the information.
Yeah.
And if you had $2.5 million you charged, so you could break up all your business into division of labor, like Tesla, someone's on the wheels, someone's on the thing, and it's all clear. If you only had 60 minutes with the client and there was a $2.5 million website, what would you do? How would you do it?
Dude, I'm going straight AI. You've got to ask AI. But I mean, I was watching the Formula One this weekend, or actually last night, and it's just exactly what you're saying. Just having those processes in place, making sure you've got a great vision of where it needs to go. First, find out what the objectives are. What does the client want out of this website? Is it going to be informational? Is it going to be a sales website? Because your website should be your main salesperson. But make sure you understand the goals and then have all these processes in place. And like I say, AI is probably a good thing to bring into it to help streamline those things for us.
Okay, what about you? Well, you've got different mental mind maps, I can tell.
We do, yeah. We're opposites.
That's what works, though.
I know,
like, we are
yeah.
totally opposite. I'm more gung-ho and she's like all
introspection,
strict.
detail.
Yeah,
process-driven
detail
systems
focused,
and
anal.
Yeah, I think definitely having those meetings up front and making sure you have a list of everything that you need and being specific about the things that you need and saying, okay, these are the different things. And once we have this, then we can begin. And once we've got this is how long it will take. So getting that stuff up front, it's easier the more the client can give to us as well, and the more the client trusts us. For example, in the beginning when we were doing websites, a lot of clients, they wanted to do their own copy, and that slowed things down so much. So also just educating the clients that we are comfortable taking everything on. We can do your content, we can do your imagery, we can do your copywriting, but giving them, I think the main thing is trust. They've just got to trust that you understand their brand, and then they'll hand more over to you, and then it's a quicker process. Yeah.
So how do you convey trust, and how do you educate a client? Who's better at that? Who's the more educated?
I think you're the educator.
The consoling, because you won't offend them as much. You'll be like,
I'll sell it and then she can educate.
Yeah, you've cleaned up.
Yeah.
But it really is about educating them on how we've done it before, showing them, giving them testimonials, references, that sort of thing. But in that discovery session initially, like Tash says, it's about drilling down into their brains and pulling out questions about things they wouldn't have even thought about before. Because the more information we can get into our repositories, onto our documents, the easier that whole process is going to be, as easier it's going to flow, and we can execute and get a great product out at the end of the day.
You could be a politician, eh?
No, I don't know.
Really?
Politically incorrect, though. If I earn your trust over time, I can sense it. It's always a salesman.
You trust me.
Fucking
Go on.
whale out the start. What about you? How do you educate or earn trust? Or not offend them when you tell them they're wrong?
Well, I think it's also just the
Telling
trust
them
that
they're
you
wrong
have in
and offending
yourself.
Both.
I know it sounds bizarre, but I do have a lot of confidence when it comes to that. And I think it's just doing your research, understanding the client. So having a good read through their website, feeling like you have a decent understanding of them before you go into the meeting. And then what Rory said is asking certain questions that we always seem to be able to bring up certain questions that they haven't thought of for a while, which brings up thoughts for them, and then makes them realize that they can trust us as well, because it's more conversational, because they'll bring up those things and then we talk through solutions and say, okay, well, this is what we can do with that. Just get them thinking.
And even more so for startups, man. Like, you can have heavily funded startups, which are great, but they also don't know what they don't know, man. And then, like, they change tack all the time. It's like a badly operated ship. But, man, it's startups can be a challenge, but it's really about guiding that client and giving them the insight that you have and the experience that you've had with other startups and building websites and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think, I can't imagine if I had I already procrastinate, avoid the work I need to do. I'm learning a lot from, serious business owners like Elon Musk. Is like, your capacity to do chores is really what business is about. You know, the chores just gets even more intense. So you think if you are just this cash cow, got a whole lot of money, never really run a business, and you don't have any consequence of any decisions you make, and how much of the unimportant things you'll be doing that don't add to the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's what are your thoughts on those startups? They're just like, oh yeah, I've got money from the sky, and are they usually good or shit, or you can't tell, or
it's partly to do with the sales process. You got to interview that client, understand where they want to go. Do they have a clear vision? Because like I say, I've dealt with startups that don't have that. They've got the money, they've got ambition, but then it's like, boom, that post, or it's a butterfly effect. Oh, there's a yellow flower. No, there's a pink flower. There's a purple flower. But it's really just helping them and guiding them and just being that support to them, making sure that we get the right thing out of the door for them. So, yeah.
Yeah. I would also say just open to receiving that feedback as well from us, to be guided, because a lot of the time with startups, they'll get that fund, but then they don't have a clear structure of what they want to do or where they want to be. They have an idea of obviously what their service is, but if we're creating marketing for them, we need a clear direction. Otherwise, it's not going to hit. Otherwise, it's going to be too broad. So we need to keep that in mind in terms of everything, in terms of their social media, in terms of the website. Who are we targeting? What are their thoughts? How are we targeting them? So just be willing to be open to feedback, So especially with those startups and setting up things like strategy meetings and coming up with clear directions, because that's going to really help them measure our success as well. So it really helps us, because then we can go back and measure our success against that.
Yeah. I think empathy plays a big role in that, though. If it's a new client, or it's a client that's new, or old client needing a new website, just understanding what they really want, making sure that you put people before business, so understanding them and their pain points. What is the best way of communicating with you? What's the best times? And I think the best clients are the people that we actually become almost friends with, because then we trust each other. And it's the thing that you mentioned earlier. So gain the trust, build rapport, and hopefully we get to the same goal.
Pour some water on them with some sheets as they've beached themselves.
Take them to the bar, liquor them up. No, I'm joking.
Take them to the bar, liquor them up. Well, it is. I mean, you think about how much is just relationship. Like, no offense to what you guys do or any other business, it's like, it's all pretty similar. You know, there's the odd compelling offer. You know, there's the odd outlier where you're like, wow, you know, they're doing something completely. But it's that rapport and showing that they feel understood. Like, you know, how many competitors are in the website space? Fucking 1,000 in Auckland?
No.
Agencies?
Way more. Way more.
So how do you differentiate? What's your secret sauce? You take them to the bar or what?
No. We were talking about that, and we honestly have not done... We do advertising, obviously we have to. But I'd say 90% of our business comes from word of mouth. So it's about gaining that trust, doing a good job, and then having them tell other people about how well you did the job, because there's a trust thing again. So we lean heavily into Google My Business, making sure that we get good Google reviews, 5-star reviews only, hopefully.
Only, yeah. I'm going to put a 1-star just for no reason. Can you cancel that if I just put it in?
Is he going to give us a 1-star?
I don't know.
Oh, no,
I
it's
can't
like
believe this.
That's good. Well, because I asked you, I was like, what's your point of difference? You're like, we got Google reviews. No, come on, man.
No.
What's your point of difference? Like, what's unique about you guys? You care. You get referrals.
We care. We do a good job. We make sure that she's a perfectionist, so we obviously hit the mark every single time. But it's really about that empathy and making sure we understand the customer, understand where they're going, what are the goals. Like I say, the website can be a number of things. It could be a lead generation website, but we need to understand that. So what is the end goal? Is there an exit strategy in 3 years? What is he doing it for? And then just really drill down into what they want to achieve there, and then just becoming their partner there.
Okay. What about your vision? What's your clear vision? Like, if I'm coming in, I'm going to do your marketing. What's your clear vision?
Hang on, can I answer that question as well?
Whoever.
I want to answer that one too.
Well, you can do both, 2 for 1.
Dude, that's our deal today, right?
I'm rolling with this.
Amazing.
I don't normally interview
That's
2
great.
people. Done it twice now.
Yeah, it's interesting because I do think it is relationships. It's so interesting because what you say is digital marketing, it's all over the place. Everyone does it. So many people, there's so many businesses out there that do it. But I think, and I've actually learned this from Rory, is it's relationship building. And our best clients, or the ones that I feel really trust us or spread the word, it's through that relationship. So, there's some key clients that I can think of, and they really trust our business, but then they tell a lot of clients, other people about us, and then we get referrals from them, and it's purely to do with that relationship. So making sure when you get in contact with these people, it's not always about work, or checking in about them first before jumping into work. It's amazing how much people appreciate that.
Word of mouth is the best form of marketing, mate.
That's
Totally.
what's worked for us.
Yeah, Murray, manager of Milford Shops, he obviously manages the whole Milford Shop area. I think when they engaged us, they were number 3 on the shore. And we did that at next to nothing. Love you, Murray. But we took them to number 1 on the shore. So he calls himself Naked Marketing's number 1 fan. So so he's a great advocate for us. So it's just that sort of thing. But relationships, totally.
And vision? You got my vote. I feel like I'm trying to suss you. I'm being a bit cruel to Rory, so I'm sorry, man.
So funny.
Because I already know you're authentic, charismatic, and then as soon as you start talking, you're like, yeah. So what we did is we helped raise children from the ground up, and we build these schools and. So how about this between the eyes? What's the been the hardest thing that you've had to overcome in terms of a limiting belief? Like mine, I play victim all the time and say, "Oh, poor me." Funnily enough, my core values taking responsibility. But
My own?
yeah, what's been the biggest thing that's holding you back in business or life? I don't know what that be.
Man, it's so funny you bring that up because I've actually been listening to 1 or 2 podcasts about that. I think innately all of us human beings have that. We've got some stupid limiting beliefs, and I think we're just restricting ourselves, to be honest. And I think if we just open up and believe in ourselves and believe in our team and our partners, we'll actually catapult ourselves big time. But mine?
Don't be vulnerable, bro. This is your moment.
No, it's all right.
Show us men that's
Yeah, I want
possible.
to know this.
Yeah, do you? Interesting.
I don't know. Just not being good enough for my family. Trying to impress my parents, which are overseas. But that just comes from childhood days, really. But if you're looking at vision, I think you interviewed Richard Conway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Camera broke.
Did it?
Yeah, half of me wasn't in it.
It's because you got a pink camera.
Yeah. Oh, homophobic, cancel it.
Yeah.
Pink, what's wrong with pink, mate?
Hey, Pink's cool. Barbie's like really cool right now.
But I mean, he talks about thinking
Yeah,
big, and then you got that other book, Think Big and Grow Rich, or whatever it is. But
Oh, yeah,
it's really about
Napoleon.
thinking big and taking out those self-limiting beliefs and putting them aside, making sure that you really lock them away. And I use anchors in my life to get around those. So, we've all been at low points in our lives, and I use those anchors and say, well, shit, I'm not going back there. But vision is to go international. We've tapped into the Asian market. We've got 3 clients there. It's definitely Australia. We're looking to set up a branch there. The States also, but
why though? I'll come to Tash too. I'm not just going to bail you up for 10 minutes. So.
because life's too short to ask why. Like you just
You
gotta
just
go
do.
big.
Don't think about it.
That's my
I'm
first-
making money, Dad. Love me.
That's my first.
Okay, I'll give
Take
you a break.
risks.
You've done well, Rory.
Thank goodness.
You can breathe.
Well
yeah,
done.
No, that's good. That's good. You did well. There's some
Politics.
real vulnerability there, mate.
It was.
It was. I was proud of it. You did well. Because that's the thing. Like, if you think about the not good enough archetype and trying for the rapport with people in your life,
Yeah.
to be able to put yourself out there at the potential of being judged publicly, it's scary. So any men listening, and women, or non-binary,
Men are worse though. Hey,
at what?
would they be?
It's sharing. Go on.
At
be
what?
polarized.
Like being vulnerable.
What do you mean? Oh, saying.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Tash, thoughts on toxic masculinity?
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Well, as in not being able to be vulnerable.
Whatever the fuck
and
that means to you. It's a flavour of the month.
I feel like it's getting better, to be fair. Yeah, definitely. I feel also just this partnership as well, because I feel like at first, Rory, as a male, you were more closed off in terms of struggles and things like that. But we're both really open now, and I think that really helps us grow as a business together collectively, because when you enter a partnership for a business, it's not just about the business, but it's impacts your personal life as well. So I think it's really important to talk about that and talk about your personal goals as well as your business goals, and make sure that we're achieving them collectively together and supporting each other. So we do make sure that we do that. And I'm glad that we do have open conversations about that.
Yeah, just a few weekends ago, we had a blue sky weekend where we just went, and the first thing off the rank was, so what are our personal challenges? I think we just about had each other in tears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you cried, good man.
Yeah,
I'm
I
worried
cried,
about
dude.
you.
I'm a big cry. But
McLeod's Daughters, I cried. Have you heard of that show?
Yeah.
Watch it. It's just like the sappiest bullshit. You
Really?
should cry. Well, I mean, if you cry, but this
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
was looking down at his dead wife, and he couldn't go to the funeral, and he was just sitting on the horse, and I was just like, yeah, it's
you
rough.
softy, you.
Yeah, I'm a softie, bro. I'm deep down. Anyway, so limiting beliefs is what I bailed Rory up with, but yeah, what? Because I see there's either a skill deficit or a limiting belief deficit in business, and you hit that level, and you got to shed it to get to the next level. Like if you want to attract A players, you have to be one, which is a cunt of a thing. Why can't you just hire them and they work it out? So, what do you think has been the biggest challenge in your next stage of business? Was it like the start, pushing people and selling and doing it for yourself because you're making money as well as caring about them, or what's been your?
It's so interesting you saying that, and also hearing you talk about other people with limiting beliefs, because I a lot of the time feel like it's just me. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I just have these limiting beliefs that are restricting me. So for me, it's age, and that's been a big thing for me. I feel like, so I was in a management position managing a team and I loved it. And then with COVID, I was made redundant, which I feel like was the push to push me into starting my own business a little bit earlier than I thought I was going to. And I get a little bit of imposter syndrome from that. When I go to networking events and people are 10, 20 years older than me and there's no one else that are in their 20s. I mean, I'm 30 this year, so.
You don't have imposter syndrome now. You're old enough.
Yeah. So that's been a really massive thing for me, and it's really annoying because I don't want other people to feel that way. I don't think it should be a limiting belief. If you feel like you have the skills to do what these people need, and then it shouldn't be a limiting belief. So for me, I do want to push past that, and there's certain books I've been reading which help with that. The first one is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is my favorite book. And it basically says you can be whoever you want to be. People say that they're the way they are because of their upbringing, their circumstances, their environment, but you can identify these things, these limiting beliefs, and you can change them to be who you want to be. And the next one that I'm reading is the Think Big. What is it? It's not Think Big, Grow Rich.
Think Slow. Is it? No. Something to do with slow and think. Is it? No?
Oh, man, I can't remember what it's
Think
called
Fast,
now.
Do Slow or some shit. And it's got like a pencil on the front cover.
I can't remember what it's called now, but it's about thinking big. And it talks about how this most successful people, it's not to do with the skills that they have. It's not because they're really knowledgeable. It's because they have the ability to think big. And so they let go of those limiting beliefs, those small beliefs, and they think big. But the thing is, we're surrounded by people that think small. And we're influenced by people around us. So it's pushing past those to think big to reach those goals. So that's something that I'm working on at the moment and been working on for the past 2 years.
You know, in 10 years, you're going to be wishing that you were younger.
Nah, I'll never wish I'm younger. I've always wanted to be older.
Really? Wait until arthritis hits. About 31.
She's going to make a great granny. I've always said that.
I can't wait.
A great granny, yeah. What defines a great granny?
Granny T is what we're going to call it.
That's my ambition in life.
To be a granny.
To be a granny.
But like an old one, though, not a young one.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Oh,
like
no,
imposter.
that'd be weird.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
On imposter, I find imposter interesting. It's like, I think kind of similar to anxiety. I find that in the moments I'm less congruent with how I'm feeling and how I view myself and how congruent with how like who I am. If there's a gap between that, between how I'm acting and how I actually am, the anxiety is much greater. And the imposter syndrome is much greater. Because often you're posturing somewhat because of the inadequacy.
Totally.
Just an idea.
I'm also sort of looking into, I've been doing a little bit of trial and testing on myself. Not medical.
Testing.
Trial and testing.
I was like, okay.
It's about freaky deaky South African accent.
You look like a he, him, you know?
Yeah, they, them. I mean, anything goes, right?
I don't want to get in trouble, Rory. I don't give a fuck, but you don't need to get in trouble.
Yeah, thank you.
We have 1% non-binary listeners. I like to shout them out.
That's good. That's good. But what I was going to say is, I think it's very much linked to your health as well. Mental health, physical health. So I think if you can get that right, everything else should flow. Flow. I'm not saying it always does, but just looking at your whole ecosystem as a whole and making sure that it's holistically healthy, and hopefully everything else comes from that because you've looked after your own being. Anyways, that's going deep.
Now, what we're about to go deeper because I love deepness. I'm just being rude and looking at the clock. We've got heaps of time. So there might be just they're not good enough. Who's harder to please, mum or dad? If you just had to pick.
In my family?
Yeah.
Shit, my mother.
Mum, okay. So
Jeez.
All the dads with mummy issues. All the men. So what would you say, like, your advice to the young version of you or a young man consuming this right now? And they're like, you know what? Nothing I do is ever good enough. I'm trying to do everything to please my mother, but still I don't feel fulfilled. And you live your whole life almost in the opposite of what your mother wants, you know, like you're trying to prove something. What would your advice be to the younger?
Yeah, I don't know if I should be doing that. I think it's just one of those insecurities that isn't really there. I don't think my mother loves me undoubtedly, and so does my dad. Thank goodness. I'm really lucky. But my mother's a bit of a battle axe. I hope she doesn't hear this, but
Shut up, Mum.
my dad's
Love you, Mum.
heavy chilled out. I think he probably smoked a lot of weed as a youngster.
Did he?
He's a Durbanite, man. But the thing is, my parents were very old school, career driven people. You leave school, you go into college, you go into your corporate job. My dad was with Mercedes-Benz all his life, and then he retired. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So for
Dirty word. You can't
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that in
yeah.
the family dinner table.
So I don't. Yeah, maybe my parents never got that, but it's a tough road to go, man. 100%. And I think
Have you achieved it? Are they proud of you yet?
I think my parents have always been proud of me, even when I was screwing up. But yeah, I think entrepreneurship is very exciting. But I think I've aged myself probably 30 years. So you're doing the right thing by going into it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Facts, bro. I saw my video of me 4 years ago. I was like, oh my God. I put on 20 kilos and grew grey hair.
Yeah,
and like,
grey hair. Yeah.
apparently I'm not
Lost
sleeping.
a bit. Yeah.
Like, it's not even that stressful. I'm stressing myself out. You know what I mean? I find there's pain and there's the interpretation of the pain. So you experience the pain and then it's done. And then I'm choosing to suffer after that. Anyway.
So I'm reading a book now that was given to me by a good friend, Stillness is Key, by Ryan Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And look, it's a big topic and talks about the Stoics and learning about Marcus Aurelius and how they got through war times and real stressful times. I mean, we think we're going through stressful times, but we're not really. It's just it's the whole ecosystem that we live in. But it's really about, in a nutshell, sort of slowing down and just becoming still to be able to catapult and go faster and go further. But I think we're always on this sort of high level and we're all anxious and we're always like just always trembling. We should just calm down and make sure that we get into the flow state.
You helped me get in flow just then. We're going to bring you into this, Tash. You get another heavy one.
Oh, no.
But you've done well. You've navigated well. So there's probably going to be some...
I feel like he likes me and he's picking on you.
I'm just trying... My thing is I don't trust anyone, which is a problem. And if I feel like...
You don't trust anybody?
Nah. I think it's a waste of time.
Come on, you've got to trust somebody until they break the trust.
It's a waste of time?
Yeah, well, you don't know. Well, I see trust as like you thinking you know how a person will react in the future.
Yeah.
I focus on trusting I'll be okay, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm not saying people are...
But that's a hard way to live, dude.
Well, I'm vulnerable.
I'm going to start asking you questions.
I feel good enough. No, just kidding.
I'm a baseball player. I trust everybody, but break my trust 3 times, strike 3, you're gone, bro.
Do you forgive them? Do you hate anyone?
No, I forgive. Because if you don't forgive, who are you hurting?
Yeah, yourself.
Yourself, dude.
No,
You
facts.
have to forgive. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's probably not the best approach, my not trusting people. But partly, I feel more at ease when someone's vulnerable and genuine. So that's why I've been a little harsh on you, because you're not being you're not being dishonest.
Yeah.
And you're being very likable. Like, you communicate well and you're funny. This is like
Look
a
at that,
bias
eh?
session. But I just feel like harder to connect with you. So I keep fucking with you to try and get something out. If that's why you're wondering why I'm picking on you, it's not because I'm like, fuck this guy, he's got an R like me. And my name, Rory, R&R. Okay, so back to Tash. Yeah, rest and recuperate. It's all happening.
Yeah.
So Tash.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Should I leave?
No, dude, bro. We're gonna make you look good soon, mate. You've done well. I think like this. I think it took courage to share the not good enough part and delve into the family, and there'll be a lot of men that resonate with that, even women.
Yeah.
So
I cry in my pillow every night, dude.
every night.
Every night.
Have a break. Well, it sounds like you got onions in the fucking thing.
Married with kids.
Yeah. I don't know that yet. PB's 2 years. That's as long as I've lasted. Yeah, sabotage. Okay, Tash.
I'm ready.
You are?
Yeah.
So there will be young women listening to this that will be like, yo, I feel like I'm an imposter too. I was talking to a lady from Socialites, Mel Spencer. She feels that too. She said it publicly, so I can say it. So what would your advice be to that person that's come in, they're surrounded by older people, they've been charged with being the leader, they might be a woman, they might be worried about being bitchy or being too assertive, or they might try and go more into a masculine to fit in with, the patriarchy or whatever. What is your advice to young female leaders that,
Great question.
Geez, that's such a tricky one. I would would you say these people are doing their own thing?
Pick whoever, I don't give a fuck. As
Okay,
long as
I'm
someone
just-
gets value out of it.
I don't know. I'm just trying to work out a direction here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
22, the people are giving a shit. They've been there for 20 years. They got put into a position, and people don't get why they're there. Don't think they deserve it.
Yeah.
Think
yeah.
they flirted with the boss to get where they are, or whatever fucking stereotype there is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We had her name's Sim. You might know Girls That Invest.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on the show a few years back.
Cool.
Because I'm a bit like that. I like I'm politically incorrect, bit of an asshole, but also care deeply about everyone. So it's like I would talk
Perfect
to
balance.
Yeah,
It's
good
such
balance.
a confusing personality.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where to sit.
Yeah, don't worry. That's everyone's vibe with me. Yeah, it is what it is. But like instead of me, speaking, do this, young female, this is what you should do as a leader. I find it's quite useful to have archetypes of success, like examples that can share their experience and what's worked for them. So she's an incredible example. Like she's really good at understanding consumer dynamics and what certain trending components in society and how to link that into developing yourself as a woman and also to get financial control. Because her big thing is like, you do not want to be in a relationship where you're, dependent on a man. Where and you can't make decisions because you hear a lot of that, domestic violence, feeling trapped, feeling the inability to leave either emotionally because you feel insecure or because financially you can't and you've got kids. That's a heavy one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that is.
So what just staying on the female leaders because we're giving Rory a good old rest.
Yeah, thank you.
But like on the female, like what sort of community would you want to create if you had it? Like if you had no imposter syndrome, all the money in the world, time, confidence, what sort of environment would you want to create for women that are in that space? And what kind of women, like would they be leaders? Would they be business owners? Would they career driven? Starts here because then I can claim credit. I'm like,
yeah.
Community she started 2 years from now.
Yeah.
My idea. Mansplain it.
Yeah. Mansplain it. Just a really encouraging environment, really inspiring. That is something that I've kind of experienced where we met and where the business was established, which was a shared working space called The Crate. They've managed to create a community, which is kind of what I would aim to create, where you're surrounded by other entrepreneurs, but everyone's really encouraging. And so people work together really well. It would be great if that expanded more outside of The Crate and in other networking communities as well. So I think what they're starting there works really well. That's kind of the main thing. And then the other thing for me, what I personally want to be able to achieve through my business and what I do, I've always wanted to be able to help people. And initially I was looking at doing that through volunteering and things like that. But I think there's a way of implementing that and bringing that in through the business. And I think also by taking that angle and thinking of it that way with your clients, I think you can be more successful as well because you're coming from the side of wanting to help them. So yeah, I do want to look at how I can help people. So helping businesses, but maybe also bringing in other things through the business, like workshops and things like that to help other people grow. But that's all just stuff that's kind of up in the air at the moment. I'm just trying to work out how I can bring in, making sure I really feel like I'm making a difference and I'm helping people, because I've felt that way since I was 15, but I feel like I'm not achieving that yet.
It's execution, We always have the best intentions in mind, but
I just really want to help people. I just want to be able to say I made a difference. Yeah. I want people to say, wow, that Tash girl, she really made a difference in my life. But I'm just trying to figure out how to do that, and I would love to bring that into the business.
Ryan's going to hold you accountable now.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you a question. A 2% rule in psychology, they call it, which is what's something small you could do that's slightly uncomfortable but not too uncomfortable that will take you in that direction. Could just be, 30 minutes next week, I'm going to sit down and think of a strategy, something like that, or I'm going to reach out to another female leader, you could even just interview them on the show and then turn them into clients as well.
Mm.
Mm.
You could have a show, New Zealand female leaders.
Nice.
You just interview them on the show, and then you can prospect and all your content sorted. And then you're
Yeah.
like, yo, we do marketing. And you're like, oh, cool.
Nice. There we go.
But anyways,
Yeah.
what's your 2% thing that you could do?
I think just checking in with the clients. I do it with some of the clients, but not all of them. But checking in to see how they're coping.
What would be like a tangible one thing? You know what I mean? Like, I'll reach out to this client on this date and do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you get social shaming if you don't, because it's on the podcast.
I know, right?
I'll rub it in.
Yeah, we got Rory
Yeah.
accountability if you want.
But yeah, just calling up and checking in to see how they are, how they're coping, if there's anything that I can do to relieve stress or anything extra I can do. But I do feel like I'm already kind of doing that.
Yeah. Well, that 15-year-old girl doesn't feel like you are.
Yeah, true. I think it's more identifying with, probably younger people that want to do their own thing.
Okay. So, what's something
Rather
tangible?
than, I think I could be doing some stuff with clients, but it's more younger people and encouraging them and helping them grow. Because that's something that, I do find really exciting. All right, what is my 1% there?
Yeah, I know you've been talking around it like fuck.
I don't know. I haven't.
You gotta put it
thought
on your
this
dream board next year.
through.
Put on your can-do attitude pants.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clip the shit out of this, and everyone's gonna just look at you, not even taking any action. Nah.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry.
No, you're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of a 1%. All I can think of is bigger things, like starting up a Facebook page looking for younger females wanting to do their own thing.
We got a conference with Auckland University next week. There we go. With the students. You still emailed me and said, do I have to go to this? No, you have to go to it.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
If you want, the Facebook page is fine. There's I go to a support group. Used to be every Monday.
AA?
Yeah, first step the minute you got a problem. I actually gave up alcohol 8 years
Did you?
ago. Yeah,
Oh,
but
well
it's not
done.
like,
Wow.
I'm going to drive in the ditch.
Yeah.
No. And they talk about self-accountability. So every man speaks for themselves. You know, no one tells them what they think or how they think. And they're making their own agreement. So you're choosing to make that agreement as opposed to Rory being helpful and being like, yo, try this. What would actually you want to do as your agreement? As opposed to like, yo, this is what you should do.
Yeah. I think it's students
Students?
and helping to guide them. So potentially starting there. Just going to a university, doing a talk.
Cool. So will you reach out to one person to do a talk by a set time frame, like the end of the year?
Yeah, my old university was Whitecliff.
Okay.
So
Oh, yeah,
reaching
Michelle.
out to
Yeah.
so reaching out to Whitecliff, going in, doing a talk there,
Nice.
and trying to inspire some people.
Boom. Okay, you get escape now. We did a lot of applause here.
Sure.
We're almost finished. We're at 11:56, so we still got 2 minutes.
We can eat lunch dinner. That's good.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we can talk about marketing. What would you like to talk about? We can go anywhere. I find people interesting, and I like to
100%, yeah.
understand if there's something to move things forward. Like I see sales as like you need to care more about the person does about themselves, and then also you need to get them to make a decision, which is sometimes not to buy your product.
100%. Yeah.
So that was sales.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, I want to achieve this thing. Okay, well, let's do it.
Yeah, you got to be honest. Like, are we the right fit for you, and vice versa? And that's where I said earlier, like, you got to interview without them knowing, but you got to interview that prospect, right? Because we could sign up a client and it just goes nowhere because they're not a cultural fit, personality fit, or monetary fit. I mean, maybe we're bleeding money because they're just not a great budget. But there was a great book a few years ago called Sales Dogs.
Sales dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember what dogs they were, but I know there was a blood.
Sales dogs.
Yeah, there were 4 dogs.
Oh, okay. There's
There was-
types. Okay.
There was a Bloodhound. There was like a Jack Russell, and then there was like a pit bull. I know there was a really aggressive one. And my sales mentor many years ago, he's a great guy, a bit rough around the edges, Afrikaans guy. hard bunch. Shit, I married one.
You married
I said I'd never marry an Afrikaans girl.
Yeah.
There we go. Never say never. But yeah, he said to me, if you're good at sales, you'll never be out of a job, which has always been true. It's really good. But you got to decide on what sales dog you are. And I think I'm more of a bloodhound, but he was more of a pit bull. And he used to go into a CEO's office and just do the hard sell. I don't know. What was it that... The Wolf of Wall Street, that sort of sell, dude. He was that kind of guy. But bullshit baffles brains as well. So you can't go into a CEO's office and try and sell him under the table sort of thing these days. So, yeah, that was an interesting book. But, yeah, sales is interesting.
So you're a bloodhound. So I think sales is a good route to go because I love it. I only did it because people scared the fuck out of me. So I was like, hey, I'll do commission sales. Yeah.
Sweet, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
So... They still do. But
what were you selling?
You did it because
everything.
people scare you.
Yeah.
Doesn't that contradict each other?
Well, I mean, you know. Well, you just got to suck it up, you know? Well, basically, I wrote down a plan. I had $20 left. I would live in a tent. So I travel around the world living in a tent. And lived in a hippie community as well.
Really?
For periods of time. And yeah, whole yarn, bro. Whole yarn. So I had $20 and like, what do I want to do in life?
Yeah.
I wrote it down on a piece of paper because it was to convince my mum to give me money. I was like, I paid for uni. You said you would. Here's my reason why. So I wrote down what I wanted in life, which was to help people live fulfilling lives. That's my goal. And I was like, well, you're scared of talking to people, so that's not going to get very far.
Wow.
So I've learned it's not what you say, but it's who you are that says it. So I was like, I'll spend $2 on a tie. Got $18 left. And then I just went in and got the job.
Whoa.
The first sales stop. So they tell you in sales you got to build a relationship. So I went to talk to this guy, but he was holding like shopping bags. So I went to shake his hand. I was stressed. Well, what do I shake? Because there's no fucking... Didn't go there. Didn't go there. Rory's got Rory, he had a thumb free. So I shook his thumb, and he looked at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, trying to build a relationship, and that's how it started. And then we...
Funny.
Yeah. So then we once you hit targets, you can do leadership. So then I started training, recruiting people. Then I had like a team of 15, and I just learned how to manage fear.
Yeah.
It didn't go away.
So a person that doesn't like people runs a podcast. Who is this guy?
It's better than networking. Like, so I go at network and be that awkward cunt sipping water in the corner that talks to no one and looks for the stragglers. And then just works
people
their way
you know.
up.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Where's Denny?
Yeah. Or I just sniper, like call people, sit them here, and then thousands of people watch it. So then I don't have to do that whole awkward thing.
Networking is awkward.
Smart.
But how powerful is networking though?
Yeah,
I found in New Zealand especially, like, networking is so powerful.
Oh, it's mad. Yeah. Every 10 calls I make, someone knows me. Just fucking, cold calls. I don't know them.
Wow.
But that's
like,
also Auckland though, man. It's scary.
It is. Yeah, you can't be a dick for too long.
I reckon there's a bit of inbreeding that's happened in New Zealand over the years.
Oh
But
my
you can
God.
clip that out. You can clip that out though.
Yeah, nah. Hot take.
Where did that come from, Rory?
It's just so small.
He's loosened up. I'm encouraging
So
him.
it's not that small.
Yeah. Whoa, fun fact, in Iceland, the cousins are filtered out on Tinder.
You should.
Because it's such an incubated
Really?
society, yeah. Yeah.
How would they do that
Filter out
though?
your cousin.
Yeah.
Do you have to have like a
I didn't go into
gene
details.
test or what?
It's just a beautiful hot take that links in with your inbred. I'm pretty sure. I went there. I heard they said that. So it's
But
not called Tinder. It's called something else.
They're beautiful people though.
Oh,
Stunning girls. Gee whiz.
Yeah, there was an article 10 years ago. Did you read that too?
No.
The best places you go is Iceland. So I went.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool.
Why? Because they didn't speak English.
Yeah, fuck.
She
I
couldn't
just
talk
point...
back.
Dude, I've been in so many places. I don't know where they are. Like,
Oh,
I'm
that's
there
cool.
and I'm just like, okay. You know, I was in Israel when Trump tried to move the embassy.
Oh,
so
gee
Hamas
whiz,
is like,
great.
yo, we're going to bomb the shit out of everything. And we'll open the gates of hell. And they had like a country warning, like US citizens don't go there.
Whoa.
I was like, well, there's not going to be lines. So we went there. And I call it the whispering wall, where they talk and pray to the wall.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
offended a lot
yeah.
of people then. But
Yeah.
there was no lines. Made friends with a guy that was like in the military. Had a bowel cancer, and we just skipped the lines because he had special privileges.
Whoa.
And there was all these army people with guns, and it
Scary, dude.
was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
We need to talk about traveling one day. I've got camel jack before in Egypt.
oh yeah,
And I missed a ship in Alaska, so we got a whole podcast on that one.
We could have
Travel, yeah.
Yeah, Jesus, wow. Maybe I should have gone that route.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So, they like you guys now.
Who?
There'll be someone listening to this that likes
Who
you.
likes us?
Yeah, are you guys still listening?
This is gold. I feel like it got good. So, marketing.
Jeez,
that's right.
We have for that. Gee.
Yeah.
Well, there's this new concept called brand performance. I don't know if you've heard of it, from Gary Vee, where it's like you have really top performing content that has social proof in it, and then you use that like either in TikTok as a spark ad, which is like you use that ad, it's already got social proof, and then you just amplify it with a conversion event, so like sales or leads or whatever. What are your thoughts on content-led marketing? If that being the variable that determines the success of it, or if it's not that, what leads to a successful marketing campaign in your eyes?
There we go. You're the content lady. That's your question.
Tash,
I'm
That
out.
was such an
I'm done.
intense question.
We were both yawning all the way.
Yeah, now you're engaged.
Gotta stop
now.
yawning.
We're not yawning now, so that's good.
Ugh.
Content-led marketing. In terms of the content that you use.
Yeah, so to give you an example, so there's been a real change in social media from subscribers, and that determines who is fed the content, to interest-based marketing. So the content will drive it to the right person. Instead of you being really good at targeting, because that used to be how marketing was done. You're just really good at targeting, get the right audience. Now you just go broad content and it goes in front of people.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on anything marketing? You can
anything marketing?
What do you feel confident in?
Well, honestly, it keeps changing. So initially we were doing a lot of graphic design when it came to our marketing, and then it moved to photography, and now it's all video. So we still do photography as well, but we try and come up with strategies where we can implement everything through video, because that will generally get about twice as many views at least on the content. So we make sure that we're moving everything across to video. And then the other thing is attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. The content that people are seeing it and the way they're seeing it is very short form as well. So getting things, I would say 30 seconds max. You want it at like 10 seconds. I think the video that did the best for us was a 10-second video, and it also had a trending sound. So trending sounds go a really long way as well, which is interesting because it's not just about what the content is. It's making sure you pair it with things that are trending, which help to make it be seen even more so. So yeah, just super quick content, adding trending sounds, and also adding captions as well, because it's the attention span thing again. So if people are swiping through things quickly, they can see what it's about, and then they're more likely to stay on it and look at it. Yeah.
But it's that whole psychology thing. I mean, how do you grab somebody's attention within like milliseconds? Because if they're on TikTok, they're scrolling, man. And if they're on Tinder, they're swiping.
Catching the attention.
I had to help my mate with his Tinder profile.
Did
the other
you?
day. He actually got a date now, yeah.
What's
Well done.
Yeah, well done. What's your Tinder blueprint? What do you look? So you have social proof. You put yourself next to.
I've never
people,
been on
so you look
Tinder.
massive. Huh?
Love, I've never been on Tinder.
Yeah, no. You're
All I had to
happily
do,
married
it was
to
easy. It was
Africa.
easy with him. He's bald, so all I had to do was like superimpose a wig on his head, and
Okay.
yeah, you got a date.
I really want to work out who this is now.
Yeah, give him a super like or something. Make your friendship. Okay, well, we're at the conclusion now. So, who should find you and why should they find you? I have to listen to this podcast.
What did you say?
Who should find you and why should they find you? Not like Tinder. Like, we're talking about business.
Oh right. Oh yeah. No,
I moved sideways because 12:15's coming soon.
I'm glad. Okay. Good.
And I don't want to rush you out.
Go on, it's
you
your
know what I mean?
turn.
We don't really have a vertical that we work with. We really want to work with good people that understand good marketing, that want to build long-term relationships with us, that we can obviously help grow And we get a lot of pride when a client comes back to us and says, listen, I've got so many sales in a month. We celebrate. We got our big gong inside in-house, and we just really thrive off that. Like, it's the wins from the clients that really just get us going. So it's really just dealing with good people that want to also work with a good team. We're a really cool team. We based our business on culture. Yes, I sound like a politician, eh?
You do it.
A little bit, yeah. I'm
yeah.
glad I highlighted that for you. Introspective self-awareness.
Yeah.
No, it's good though. I get it. Like, so you care deeply about the people that come on,
Yeah.
and you want to do good marketing and do good by them, and you have empathy and ethics. So that's good. That's the point of difference, because they don't do that. Agencies, of course.
Well, yeah, a lot of people come to us because they're with bigger agencies, and those bigger agencies don't care as much. We're a smaller, tight-knit team, and we really care about our customers, and we care about what they want to do, their personal and business goals, and we want to get them there. So I think that's the difference, is people come to us because of that fact, and then they feel like we're part of their team rather than someone who's working, a business that's working for them.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm probably in my 6th or 7th business. Most of them failed. I had 2 or 3 that didn't.
Yeah.
But it's also understanding the business side of things. You got an agency, and maybe this is the first thing that a person's had in a business, but understanding the pain points of business owners, the stresses, the risks they go through, the risks they put their family through. I mean, understanding all that sort of thing, like the whole environment, not just marketing. You get to marketing through understanding their pain points and where they want to go with the business. So yeah, I think that sort of sets us aside, is just understanding that and building the relationship and getting them where they need to go.
Boom. I like that. That was heartfelt.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Yes,
It's lovely
I
meeting you.
need to apologise though.
Oh, you do on the thing?
Yeah, because
okay.
it took us a while to get you, and I think we cancelled twice, and I just want to say it's all Tash's fault.
It is not.
Good. You heard it here first. That's all from us.
Yeah,
No.
cool.
Yeah. Okay. Done.